All right, moving on to our next sign. If you are just joining me, then you will know that I am reading double blind this month, which means that I have selected the cards and I'm reading the cards without knowing which sign I am reading for. The reason I'm doing this is because I have had some comments and emails regarding being a false and fraudulent reader, because I know which sign I'm reading for, and I was accused of trying to manipulate collective energies by knowing the signs. And that is not something that I do. So I am reading double blind to prove that I am capable of it. All right. So the card that we have pulled for this sign is, I won't put those unwanted ingredients in my food. All right. That is a great reading, or a great card to pull. I won't put those unwanted ingredients in my pie. This connects to the Aquarius reading which was the first reading that I had done, and I think it was the first reading. Aquarius was the first reading, but I think, was it? No, it was the second. Was it? It was the second reading that I did. I don't remember. Okay, I had it was Taurus. Was it Taurus? Let me just check here. I want you guys to be able to go check out that reading, because I talked about some huge metaphysical things. Sorry, it was Libra. So talk about like magic and like the meaning of items, the medallion, and that is something with this reading here. For example, if we do magic and we use items, but we don't know where those items came from and whether they're spiritually clean or not, we can end up with challenges in what we manifest. So this is about spiritual sanctity and spiritual cleanliness, about what it is that we're wishing for, and how that affects our ability to manifest what it is that we desire, rather than having unwanted things also manifest for us. So the second card that we've pulled here is the bridge. And I did speak about, for just the last sign that I read for, about how Metatron sits on that bridge, Cancer. How Metatron sits on that bridge between the 3D and the 5D, and mediates the way that those quantum closures happen. And so the bridge is, look, the bridge can be about telepathy, and using our sixth senses, and the bridge is also how we bridge our emotional and our physical state. So it's asking us not to put ingredients that we don't want into our pie. Okay. The other cards that we have, the Ace of Wands. Beautiful card about bringing balance and moving from one side to the other side of this bridge. So we're seeing some resonance here again, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So this is largely about, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse is as you shall be, right? So sometimes we take a trajectory in life, and that isn't the trajectory that we decide that we want, right? We test something out and decide it's not for us. I switch up my electric skateboard for an electric scooter, and realized that I enjoy electric skateboarding more. So that I've got to sell the electric skateboard and get a new electric skateboard. We try things out and we decide that they're not for us. That is okay. That is how we experience contrast. But once we know what is unwanted, we need to let the other thing go. And we need to understand that there's consequences for every path that we take. So say in selling my electric skateboard and buying an electric scooter, and then now having to sell the electric scooter again, I'm going to lose some money. Well, that is the inevitable consequence of having tried one path and realizing that that path was not meant for us. That is okay and an inevitable aspect of life. And we have to be willing to let go of those unwanted things in order to be able to move forward. So the message for our sign is about the Magician. So we have this resonance here again with the law of attraction, attracting what it is that we want and what we don't want. We've got this Knight of Swords here, which is about running towards, well, it's not necessarily like it's running towards our getaway car here with the with the motorcycle, and some level of anxiety about doing that. So something in our life was manifested that we don't desire. We tried out a path that didn't work for us, and we now have to jump in our getaway car, leave whatever this Knight of Swords is leaving in the past, and there is some level of anxiety around doing that. Yes. But when we know what is not meant for us, then we can transmute it. Let's get a card here on the shadow aspect of this Nine of Swords. I am not wearing sunscreen, and I have now been out for a couple of hours here doing these readings, and I can feel myself getting burnt on my back. I've got half the signs to go. All right. Shadow card for this sign about this anxiety, needing to move past how do we move past the anxiety? How do we move past the anxiety? Separation. Reconnecting to your center. So there is some level of separation that needs to happen, and that separation is just what is required in order for, like, there's anxiety around this separation. However, like, that's what needs to happen when we don't want to put the unwanted ingredients in our pie. Imagine yourself as a chef in an extremely well-stocked kitchen where there are many ingredients that are not appropriate for your creation, but you feel no discomfort about their existence. You simply utilize the ingredients that will enhance your creation, and you leave the ingredients that are not appropriate for your creation out of your pie. And that's it. Card number 36. So working with the energy of the nines, working with the Merkaba. So really working through this energy above the solar plexus. We have, before we get to the heart center, that is the location of the Merkaba. It's not at the navel center, and it's not at the heart center. It's at the bridge between. It's the center of our breath. So working with the Merkaba energy here, you can see that there is like a partial Merkaba here, but it is not fully formed yet. So this is about letting go of the things that no longer serve us to move back into that quantum states to allow for the manifestation that we do desire to happen. We've got the Sun card here. We've got the Hierophant, illuminating structures, illuminating sacred knowledge, illuminating the law, spiritual or otherwise, death, and the Five of Pentacles. Transforming a situation where there was a significant lack of resources, being left out in the coals, feeling left out in the coals. All right, well, let's see what sign I was reading for. I was reading for Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, this is this is your new moon, right? So this makes this a very extra special and extra potent reading for you. So I really do want you to consider here the Hierophant is like, we can have false logic and false wisdom and false ideas that we believe to be true. And so these three cards here are asking you to put an end, like let the sun illuminate these false beliefs that you have so that they can die and transform, and then transform this Five of Pentacles situation, being left out, being excluded, not having enough. And that happens by letting go of the situations that are not for us, considering what we've grown from what we've planted, and reconnecting with that rainbow bridge. All right, Scorpio, I hope you enjoy your new moon. Really wishing you all the best, because this is a very powerful and potent new moon for you if you are a sun sign Scorpio, or if you are a moon sign Scorpio, because it is happening at essentially the 28th, at the very last degrees of your sign. So very important to spend the time creating considering the path that you want to move forward with, and working with those energies. I suggest you make a plan for working with those energies, not only over the next month, setting the intentions over the next month, but how you're going to implement those in the year and a half ahead. And that will allow you to get the most from this rainbow bridge that is there for you. All right, moving on to our next sign. If you're just joining me, welcome in. I am reading double blind this month because I had some email criticism saying that I was a false reader and a false prophet and all of that, which I know to be untrue. So I think these go this way. If they turn up upside down, I will flip them around, but I think this is the way that they tended to come out. We'll just have a look at that. I think this might be a very dynamic reading because all the other signs, I've just pulled the cards out and intuitively known which way they went. So for this sign, there is some level of like, what's upright, what's not. And I think that might be reflected in the reading, which is, again, what we've got here about what is true. So this card that we're picking, that we've got here as, you know, our major sign for our major intention setting point. But whose truth is the true truth? Whose truth is the true truth? there is a universal truth, but largely we do not have access to it, right? Because everything is filtered through our own subjective reality, not, we don't have access to the objective reality, only God does. Okay. We have got the empty room. Okay, so what this new moon is asking us to do is to empty our thoughts, which includes our own truths, right? In a way, it's asking us to give something up, to completely give it up. And the reason why we have to give that thing up is because the external, the 3D and the 5D are at odds with each other. Essentially what I was saying, like, which way is the right way up on these cards when I laid them down? And I've had no problems with any of the other signs that I've read. So the external reality is not mirroring the internal reality, and the internal reality is not mirroring the external reality for the sign that I'm reading for. And the reason is because, of 2D consciousness here that is not being able to move to a third dimensional perspective where we move beyond good and bad, dark and light, sacred and karmic. And so, yeah, that is the challenge here. So we need to empty our room and start afresh, essentially. Okay, let's dig in a little deeper. The Page of Pentacles and the Five of Cups in reverse. So the Five of Cups is about really, really broken emotions, right? Shattered emotions. And the Page of Cups is about stabilizing something in, right? It's the start of grounding something. So what we want to ground in here is something that doesn't come from these shattered emotions. And in order to do that, you need to empty the room so that the magic that you're using doesn't come from the shattered emotions. Let's read this card. It says, with enough attention to anything, the essence of what you've been giving thought to will eventually become a physical manifestation. And then, as others give attention to it, they help it expand. In time, this manifestation, whether wanted or not, is called truth. Deliberate creation is about deliberately choosing those experiences you make your dreams. Okay, so the challenge here to emptying the room, see if we can get one card. If we have to take two, I will take two, but let's see if we can get one card here. Oh, and this is the one. This is the one. Okay. So, the card is surrender. Let your soul wisdom lead the way. No, do you want my number? Yeah. Yeah. See if I've got a pen in here. Oh. Do you have your phone?
Oh, yeah. You can declare them. And your name?
Riley.
Right. Thank you.
No worries.
Come here.
Okay. Okay, so surrender. The surrender card here is, yes. So we have to be able to surrender this idea of whose truth, my truth, their truth, what truth, and move into this empty room, because what we're manifesting right now is we don't want to be manifesting from broken emotions. And but the challenge here is surrendering. So the challenge is surrendering our truth and getting beyond our truth in the situation. Now, the situation is Two of Wands, not making some sort of decision, how we set ourselves apart, and the High Priestess. The Two of Wands is this or that thinking, not knowing which way to go, and this or that thinking. So it is about giving up this or that thinking to allow us to jump on this chariot and get into our High Priestess position. Okay, what else can we say for the viewer? We've got illumination, question mark. What is the challenge card here? It's the Four of Cups in reverse. The Four of Cups is the hand of God giving us what we need to fill our cup, and us not accepting that cup, right? It's like this feeling of discontentment with where we're at, and hence not allowing ourselves to be emotionally fulfilled by what is happening. Okay, we've got the Three of Wands and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of transforming into some place of truth and vision for the future. It's about transforming into a vision of truth for the future. And the Knight of Wands is about starting that transformation. No, it's about carrying that transformation over into the Queen of Wands so that it becomes embodied in the self. We've got the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups here, so I'm just going to pull a couple of other... Yeah, it's been a difficult situation, clearly, for our collective here. Very much a mental prison. But the way through is to let go and surrender. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse. You know, it's about emotional baggage. It's about emotional hurts and wounds that lead to a lack of clarity. It's all this water stuff that is coming up for, we have to get into a place where we're able to empty our emotions and reset our emotions. So I am feeling for this collective, if you are able to, like, one of the things that I love doing is like playing in the waves, big waves. Sometimes I'll go out for a surf, but other times I will just like bob around and like let the waves smash on my head. And for me, that very much allows me to break up those emotional patterns that are causing stagnation. And so that is a practice that I am suggesting for this collective. Like, if you can get into water and allow the water to wash over you. I'm also feeling like saltwater bathing or like magnesium salt bathing will be helpful for you. A lot of ocean time. If you're able over the holidays to get away to a destination where you can be by the ocean, that's going to be super helpful for you. But look, you know, you've got this High Priestess card here. Like, you're able to embody this High Priestess energy and to set yourself apart. But it is a choice, and the choice has to come from a surrendered state of being. And it's by giving up your truth, because the High Priestess doesn't come from a subjective place. They come from an objective place. And so you have to be able to surrender your beliefs around a situation in order to allow yourself to come back up into this High Priestess energy. And I'm going to pull one more card here because I want to see what is on the other side of illumination for this collective. Because there's not a lot positive in this reading. Like, it's giving you a lot of guided focus. I think this is the card. Conflict. Know what you dislike, focus on your likes. So conflict is on the other side of surrender. Conflict is on the other side of surrender. Let your soul wisdom lead the way. Know what you dislike. Focus on your likes. Okay, so this is about integrating the light codes. You're in the process of integrating new light codes, but you have to do it from an empty room. And when you come out of that empty room, you're gonna have a new state of spiritual evolution. That new state of spiritual evolution is going to cause conflict in your life because you have transformed. You have essentially stepped into a higher timeline. And when we step into higher timelines, a lot of times the people around us do not like it. They don't like where we're at. They don't like what has come from that. I can't say what is coming for you because I don't know whether you're going to finish this in the next month or the next 18-month period, but like the High Priestess again, it's coming. It's just a matter of how quickly you decide to do it, whether you decide to complete the journey this month or whether it takes you the next 18 months to figure it out. The High Priestess is what's on the table. It's where you're headed. It's your path. It's your destiny. But you're gonna be the one that chooses how long it takes you to get there. We are waiting for Sagittarius. All right, on to our next collective. There is no resistance. Is this our last sign? It is. All right. There's no resistance to this being our last reading, that's for sure. Okay. So I am reading double blind for those of you tuning in. And what does that mean? It means that I picked the cards without knowing the signs, and I'm reading the cards without knowing the signs. And you are the last sign. Like I just said, like when I read, I generally am not, I'm in a very lucid state. I believe this is Capricorn's reading, but I'm not quite sure. So let's just read. We're going to read how we want to read. We're going to see what comes up. It says, why are they not getting what they are asking for? Why are they not getting what they are asking for? Okay, so number 40. 4 is a portal, 0 is a new beginning. 4 is a portal, 0 is a new beginning. Why are they not getting what they asked for? So you're very much preoccupied during this new moon with wondering why things aren't manifesting for other people in your life. We've got the orphan card here. I don't have the guidebook. The orphan is a very difficult energy to work through. It is, on a spiritual level, it is about understanding we're all connected, which is an somewhat easy lesson to learn. And then we all have to stand for ourselves, which is not so easy, right? Learning that we all have to fill our own cup so we can drink from our cup so we have something to give other people is a difficult lesson to learn. And it can be very difficult to see people in our lives go through things that they don't want to go through. We've got the 3 of Swords, and we've got this or that thinking. So we've got a very heartbreaking situation here. And that heartbreaking situation is caused by not making a decision, sitting on the fence, but also not evolving into a perspective, to the 3 of Wands, which the 3 of Wands allows us to manifest for our future from a place of truth. And so the 2 of Wands can be a card of burning the candle from both ends. Playing in the light, playing in the dark. Alright, let's take a look at, we've got the Fool, which is a new beginning. We have got the Ace of Pentacles, which is the opportunity to stabilize something in. And we've got the 3 of Swords. Again, 3 of Swords, 3 of Swords. Yeah, this is a really difficult I believe our sign here is being asked to become a bit of a guide, but it's going to be very difficult. I don't know who you're guiding, and how you're guiding. got conflict. Know what you dislike. Focus on your likes. What you dislike. Got conflict. Okay, and we've got surrender. Let your soul wisdom lead the way. Sometimes the only way that we can be a mentor for somebody, especially if that person is very close to us, like a brother or a sister, is to lead by example, because the other person won't allow us to be a guide for them, right? They orphan themselves in a situation, and that doesn't allow them to learn the lessons that you're able to, take the wisdom that you're able to offer them. And so when that becomes the case, you then have to let them go, right? Cut them off, because it's a lesson that they can only learn for themselves. We've got the Ten of Swords, betrayal, backstabbing, the end, the Ten of Wands, the ability to transform, a very difficult burden, but being at the very end of it. We've got the Five of Wands, which is some level of conflict and competition, internal conflict about a family situation here. Yeah, this is a hard reading for me to do again, because I wish this wasn't the last sign. I'm pretty sure I know which sign this is for, and so it's ringing very close to home for me. Lack of clarity about a partnership, the lack of clarity about a choice as well. I'm not looking at the bottom, so you can't either. Sorry, there we go. Okay, some not moving on. Some unwanted transition. Okay. So there's lots of heartbreak happening in this situation, and this message is really about for our Capricorns, because sometimes we can't be there for other people, right? Sometimes we have to learn how to be there for ourselves. Ten of Swords on top of the Ten of Swords. So there is very much some level of ending here, which is very much a burden. With the Five of Wands, we've got the Five of Cups in reverse. So allowing ourselves to move beyond a state of sadness or grief about a situation. With the Ten of Pentacles card, we have here the Seven of Swords in reverse. So the Seven of Swords is about lying, cheating, stealing, manipulation. And with that card in reverse, it really, the good aspects of the card are the positive aspects of the Seven of Swords is stealing the swords from the enemy's camp so we don't have to go to war. And that is what Jesus did when he went to the cross, right? He surrendered to God and he prevented a holy war. This is some level of deceit or betrayal in the family line with the Ten of Pentacles here. Overcoming sadness, overcoming grief. The Five of Wands, everybody who has been watching me for a while knows that this is my neural network card. So this really is about reprogramming the mind, rerouting those neural networks, rerouting our neural networks. We've got justice here. Justice for give and take. Justice for nostalgic feelings. Justice for what happened in childhood. And the Hermit card. So allowing yourself to get centered, to go inwards, allowing yourself to withdraw from a situation. If people are not receiving what they're asking for, it can only be that the person's holding the desire out of alignment with their own requests. There is no shortage, there is no lack, there is no competition for resources. There is only the allowing or the disallowing of that which one is asking for. So again, I do feel like this is a bit of a supportive role card. So if you're reading this for your sun, moon, or rising sign, read it in conjunction with the other readings for your other aspects of your chart. Because on some levels, I feel like you're being asked to be a leader for others, but in others, you're very much being asked to be a leader for yourself in this situation. And with regards to the conflict that's going on, both inside of you and around you, to surrender to your soul wisdom, to surrender to the divine, to let yourself get messages from the divine to assist you in your journey at this point in time, and to allow for a new beginning here. And that new beginning is, again, like the Orphan card, we have to be able to hold two universal truths together. And that is, this is one of those big paradoxes about understanding spirituality. And that is that we are all connected, and also that we are whole in ourselves. And that can be a very confusing, dealing with some of those big paradoxes can be very confusing to us. But again, the way forward with this orphan energy is, so yeah, like I said, when we accept that we're all connected, we understand that our actions and behaviors impact the collective energies. And therefore, we act in a way for the highest good of the universe, or for all But if we're doing that out of self-sacrifice, then we're actually denying our own existence and our own needs. And self-sacrifice is not a requirement. Like, you're not required to orphan yourself for the collective consciousness. And yeah, so working through some of those childhood traumas about like orphaning yourself and orphaning your own needs for others, is going to allow you to lead. You know, why are they not getting what they asked for? It's going to allow you to be able to heal yourself so that you can heal others. And again, that's another like really big misunderstanding, or like, how can healing myself heal others? With this orphan cards. But again, if we can understand, if we've stepped through if we know that we're all interconnected, and therefore we choose to move in a way that allows what is best for the greater good, okay, that's one spiritual lesson. Now the next spiritual lesson is, no, well, while that is true, we are also our own, we have to have everything develop from inside us. So we have to accept that we are alone. We have to accept that orphaning, and allow ourselves to work through those orphan experiences on our own. All right, so that reading was actually for Gemini. Interesting. I thought it was for Capricorn, but our Geminis. All right, Gemini. I very much hope you enjoyed your reading, and I will see everybody for the full moon readings in 2 weeks' time. Catch you then. Ooh, like, okay, I just had like a really big sort of like tear in my heart and tear in my, a very difficult and painful experience here for our Geminis. So just integrating and transmuting for our Geminis. Very physical manifestations of, like, you know, the Three of Swords turned up twice in that reading. It's going to be very important for Geminis to feel into this experience and to allow themselves to feel the hurt, feel the solitude, feel through that orphan experience, and do look up from the Wild Unknown Archetype deck, the Orphan card, and read through what the guidebook says, because I think it's going to help you in this journey. And this is an energy that we'll be moving through over the next year and a half. I would encourage you to spend the next month working with these energies in the lead up to Christmas, so that you're able to digest and have clarity on the transition, because we do have planets moving forward. Gemini moves forward in 6 months' time, And so if you're able to work with the energies over the next month, that when Jupiter moves forward, you're going to be getting a lot of those blessings for you. So, yeah, read through the Orphan card, Wild Unknown archetype, feel into the pain of the Three of Swords, feel into that heartbreak, and allow yourself to transmute and come through that. And you will have your blessings when Jupiter moves forward. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you on the full moon reading.